Hey guys, it's Wren.
And Lyd.
And we're back with Seduce Me.
Surprise! No one is surprised.
Alright. We finally completed all of the boys' routes.
We have indeed.
Means, as you've requested,
It's
we're
time
going to
to
move
touch
on
some-
to the humans.
Touch some human butt.
Touch some human butt. So we're going to start off with Naomi's route, because she's adorable.
I love her hair so much.
Let's get started.
You.
Yee!
You.
Boop.
Oh boy.
Got our trigger warnings here. You have been
Yep.
warned.
Yep. Be warned, people.
Why, hello. My.
Nope. Shut your face, Eric. Shut your
A
mouth.
lovely name for
Try not
a
to
lovely
panic.
person like you.
Eric, dude. Very well. This game was produced by Seraphim Entertainment under the direction of Michaela Laws and is powered by RenPy Visual Novel Engine.
We truly hope you'll enjoy this story. I know I'll enjoy it. Since you'll be in it. I heard this so many fucking times.
I know!
Fine, fine.
Eric, shut up!
Farewell, my
my
sweet.
You're not my sweet. You'll never be my sweet. Ever again.
Come on.
Boys are fighting in the woods.
Run away,
right
stupid
outside.
punks.
This formula, created in the 70s, is one of the most important in the field of financial theory. It is used to calculate the price of European-style options and is widely used by option marketers, though there are some discrepancies that are now corrected with the modern viewpoint.
Rain. It's been a long time since we've gotten rain around here.
Perfect.
It is the season for rainy weather, so it's not exactly that surprising. Personally, I loved the sound of it. The way the raindrops fell, like the soft tapping of fingers, it was so soothing. Even looking at the droplets hit the glass is strangely calming. For this reason, I felt lucky for having a seat next to the window, to the wall, to what that dumb ski. Though I did spend more time staring outside than I did paying attention in class. The lectures in class were pretty boring. Mrs. Phillips' voice wasn't soporific, but I don't know what that word means. Yeah.
Soporific? I think it means, like, soothing or...
Why wouldn't you just say soothing? Who's gonna look up soporific?
Or it could be the complete opposite. I don't know.
I was just
I'm
about
gonna
to
look it up. Because if it's one way or another, the sentence doesn't make sense. Nope, I was right. Causing a person to become tired and ready to fall asleep.
Okay. Honestly, I didn't really care much for economies. Sure, I had good grades in this class.
Economies?
I thought that sounded weird when I said it. I'm like, what? Honestly, I didn't care much for economics. Sure, I had good grades in this class, but it was only because I read the textbook and did my assignments as I had to. I was only taking this class because it was mandatory. If it were up to me, I would have taken another course.
What the fuck happened to your hand?
Call me, beat me, if you want to reach me.
No, the one holding the pencil.
Oh.
Do.
Luckily, it was my senior year. So after this semester, it would mean the end of high school courses forever. Thank God for that.
And then you're on to college.
I didn't hate high school, I did. It was just kind of mundane how the days drifted on and on as if there were no end to it.
I liked the part of high school where I had friends.
I have a really hard time remembering a single happy memory from high school these days. The only thing I really enjoyed about going to school was meeting my friends and hanging out with them. But that was kind of...
Same!
In short, I was done with high school.
Super done.
The start of second semester brought a note of finality to snote.
Finality? What is...
Isn't it finality?
Yes, but you said finality.
Because I was laughing over saying snote. The start of second semester brought a note of finality to it. I had already applied to many universities this semester prior, and I was expecting replies sometimes in the next few months. It seemed like the start of something new.
The start of something new.
Something that would change like a high school musical. That is, if things could change. I stared at the faint outline of raindrops in the distance. For now, I was stuck in this class. Mrs. Phillips' raised voice interrupted my train of thought. Just when I was thinking about class, I quickly turned my head to face the teacher. Hopefully she didn't pick me because she noticed I was spacing out.
Yes, ma'am?
Would you care to name the equation I set up on the blackboard?
No?
Oh, I think I read about that in the textbook last night. It should be.
The Black-Scholes model formula.
Very good as always, Miss Anderson.
Fuck yeah!
Anderson. It followed me wherever I went.
Mostly because it's my name.
Most people didn't really know me by my first name, but rather by my surname. No doubt, since the surname was the trademark of the internationally famous and philanthropic Anderson Family Toys, and because the founder was my own grandfather. Suzu, one of my best friends, turned around and proudly gave me a one punch to the shoulder.
Kick-ass girl.
From behind me, I heard Naomi, another one of my best friends, clearing her throat in obvious disapproval of Suzu's choice of words.
She means good job.
Miss Capini,
I...
care to tell me who the creators of this formula were?
Some guys named Black and
Same.
Scholes. Fisher Black and Myron Scholes.
I mean, she wasn't wrong.
She wasn't, it's true, she
Very good,
wasn't
Miss
wrong.
Harrison.
Show off. Better study next time, Suzu. Be like us and study once in a while.
Nah.
Suzu rolled her eyes and slouched into her chair as Naomi gave her a small smirk. She always pouted when Naomi showed her up.
That's the end of today's lecture. Now,
Thank God.
let's separate into groups and work on your projects. Remember, everything is due on Monday. Go ahead now.
Before I knew it, Suzu and Naomi had scooted their desks to align with mine, and we turned into the Three Musketeers. Whenever the teacher let the students decide on groups, we were always grouped together in our little trio. It was a sheer stroke of luck that we had all managed to be in the same class, so we at least had to take the opportunity and stick together as much as we could. Besides, we were most comfortable around each other than, say, compared to being around any other classmate. It just made sense for us to put our heads together for any kind of project. I took out the poster we were working on and rolled it open onto the 3 desks. We were lurking on that poster. We were pretty much finished with filling most of the guidelines for the project, though we did still have to add a few finishing touches here and there. After working on making the poster a bit prettier, we sat back and inspected our work to see what we still had to do. Naomi, as usual, was the first to look for any issues. She lightly tapped a pencil against her chin, staring intently at the project.
Alright, so let's see. We finished the budgeting section, the building leasing, and the cost for labor. What else do we need?
Suzu straightened up to look at the poster and stroked her chin. After a few seconds, her face brightened and she spoke up.
How about a company name?
Huh? Did we really skip over that?
Of course we did. You always go straight into the logical statistics and stuff that you completely skip over the fact. We need a name for our projects.
At least we caught it this time. What do we name it?
Not sure. What do you think?
It always came down to me. Whenever there was something to be named or titled, I was the master in ending decision even when I didn't want to be, because I was a
like
visual
Trinity
novel
Corporations.
protagonist.
That is way too predictable. How about the Dragon Company?
What do dragons have to do with our project?
What? It's a totally unpredictable name. It's hot.
But our company sells bubblegum.
Who said we can't produce spicy bubblegum?
What do you think?
Yeah. What do you think?
Both of them looked at me expectantly, even though I wasn't quite sure myself. So if we're trying to get to the Naomi, we should choose the Trinity Corporation.
Boop! Fine. Be lame.
Alright, now that we've decided on a name, now what?
As we ended our name game, a giggle scrambled my thoughts.
Huh? Who is that?
Ignore it. It's just Lizette.
Fucking Lizette.
I looked over my shoulder to see her laughing with her circle of friends, mostly comprised of popular people that were practically friends with everyone in the school. And as a result, everyone in the school knew them, and the center of it all was Lizette White. She sat with a posture that indicated she was still working, but that she also was ready to casually chat about her day. She had an endearing balance of charismatic and awkward, which was readily apparent when she first talked to someone. I hate that. That's not endearing at all. It was easy to make her smile and laugh, and she was quite the comedian as well. Basically, she was perfect. Not that she was like a robot or anything, because that would make her cooler, but she was the student that everyone else wanted to be. Lizette was bright, easygoing, and above all, had her future laid out right in front of her. Unlike the average
So do we, technically.
Unlike the average student, she knew what she wanted to do after high school, and as a result, she was confident and ambitious, though sometimes it could rub a lot of people the wrong way. Moreover, I had known her ever since I was young, but it had ultimately resulted in a rivalry that continued today. Of course, my friends knew what was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion.
She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work.
Oh, come on, Suzu. She may be a little off-putting, but she's not the giant priss that you're making her seem to be.
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind. It's about time. Let's bail.
Unsurprisingly, Suzu was first out of the classroom, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strolled out the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
Me and you both, Naomi.
Me and you both, Naomi.
She gave me a smile, as if relieved by the fact that I felt the same way as she did.
See? Why can't she just be normal like the two of us?
Well, it's not about being normal, Naomi.
It's Suzu, Naomi. Think about it.
Very true.
You're all normal in your own little ways. It's normal of you to want to stay behind. It's normal of
You
Suzu
guys
to
are
jump
slow.
out into the
Are
hallway.
you coming or what?
It's normal of laundry
We
to be
heard
named
you the
laundry.
first time. Not everyone has rocket boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings.
See, Suzu's a robot. She's kind of cool.
Are you kidding me? That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
I do have to admit I was spacing out, and just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically the valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting. But you should at least pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts.
So you finally admit it. We're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson.
Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we
And thus
ever
we
see
wonder,
things eye to
why
eye.
are you friends? Despite this, they both burst out in laughter.
What the hell?
I know, that's so weird!
Bizarre.
Despite this, they both burst out in laughter. Normally, anyone would think that opposites like them wouldn't ever associate with each other. But even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense.
How?
I don't get
All
it,
right,
and I
so
say
where
this
are
as
we
somebody
heading
who
to first?
consistently insults my friends
Cafeteria?
as a way of showing them I
I
love
think we
them.
can all agree that we're really hungry, especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum.
Who would even buy that? I wonder.
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste of it.
You do like spicy food after all.
We entered the cafeteria, a bustling room filled with the aromas of different kinds of food. As we got in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some juice.
Gross.
You're probably going to need water or something to curb all that spicy flavor, Suzu.
You mean milk? 'Cause water doesn't help?
I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing.
You're crazy.
Hell yeah, I'm crazy.
I think I'm getting a migraine. I think I'll go with... What
We're gonna
Naomi's
have-
having.
Naomi's
A tuna
food.
sandwich sounds pretty good right now anyway.
Ugh.
Oh, hush.
Once we got our food, we settled down on one of the empty tables, putting all backpacks aside to finally dig into the food. Suzu leaned back in her chair, tilting it back so she could rest her feet on the table by her food.
All right then. Is there anything we want to talk about?
Bored already?
I know. Let's talk about...
Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again.
Aw, why not?
What's so interesting about talking about guys? It's not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon.
We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend?
Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde.
Hey!
No offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants.
Or girlfriend?
She can be a lesbian if she wants.
True.
That's okay, Suzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend.
Why not?
That's such a
It's our
weird
senior year.
exchange, to be
Might as
honest.
well get a boyfriend.
Bizarre conversation. People don't talk like that.
Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu. Well...
It really wasn't about wanting a relationship, but more if there was no one interesting enough to be in a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I'm an open person, but there were not many interesting guys in the school to go out with.
Who knows? Time will tell.
Naomi looked to me, wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafeteria started up and an announcement echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
Somebody's in trouble.
Oh my.
Somebody is dead.
Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you.
Suzu, don't joke around. What if it's serious?
Fine. If something happens, just call us.
And then it turned out to be serious. Funny enough, something did happen. And it was certainly no laughing matter. Cold. It was really cold. The rain became heavier that afternoon, accompanied by rolling thunder now and then. The skies had turned dark, though I couldn't see any of it under the black umbrella. Not that I was looking up. In fact, looking up was the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look up at the people weeping around me. All I could see was the damp grass underneath my feet. Only the monotone eulogies that floated through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. It was only when the speeches ended that I was finally able to raise my head.
Harold Anderson, forever in our hearts.
A small gathering of people, mostly made of relatives that I didn't even know related to me, were huddled around a simple, small grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops and umbrellas. If it weren't raining, everything would probably be in a heavy silence. I looked beside me where my father was standing and holding up a large black umbrella for our small family of 3. His face was emotionless, a strange sight next to my weeping mother. I wondered what was going through his mind.
My evil Satanist dad is finally dead.
Eggs!
Money.
His dead money! After all, etched into the smooth gray tombstone before us was his father's name. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. The ceremony was small. Only close family were allowed to come. Slowly, though, people began to leave, leaving my father, mother, and me behind at the grave. A man dressed in a clean black suit under the uniform black umbrella of his funeral attendees walked towards us, introducing himself as grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents from his suitcase and began to read aloud its contents.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
At the grave. Only my parents and I were allowed to be present for my grandfather's will. It was under the strict request of his lawyer, and there was a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate. All the furniture and decor that resides within the house shall also be given to my granddaughter.
Get wrecked, Dad.
What?
I couldn't believe my ears. I had earned the family estate at 18. That was impossible, and yet it was written by my own grandfather's hand.
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
You need to chill your grill.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position of the Anderson Toys Company?
No. It is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position.
Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. Oh, what a stubborn old man.
Shaking his head, my father turned to face my mother with a serious expression on his face.
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
Are you sure we should?
Why not? This would be a good experience for her.
Honey, what do you think?
You're just bitter.
He's horrible. Sometimes I forget how horrible he is.
Yeah, really.
I really wasn't sure what to say. Why did my grandfather think that I was the appropriate heir to the mansion? Was I really even ready to live on my own?
No, you're still a kid.
And
I'm
your life
23 and I'm not ready to live on my own.
And it's
Well,
totally
that seems
unfair.
to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust.
Fuck off.
My God.
David.
You?
Literally the worst.
Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began walking back to the car, disinterested. Literally just divorce him, like, right now.
Don't mind him, honey. I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him. Why don't we get back home for now?
You can go ahead to the car, Mom. I think I need some time alone with Grandpa.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
She gave me a quick hug and hurried after my dad. I looked around the funeral grounds, which was completely empty save for the sullen-looking grave that was laid in front of me.
I'm sure that if Grandpa were in charge of arranging all this, it would have been much different.
It was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury their own family the same day they pass away? Don't even think that's possible, but whatever. Everyone
No, it's not possible.
Exactly, like, how is this happening?
Because the thing is, with, if it's going to be, an open casket funeral, or whatever, they basically embalm the body.
Yeah.
That's standard procedure. So, funeral homes always need a day or two at least to prepare.
Yeah, like anything. People need time to prepare. You can't just be like, oh, he's dead. Time to suddenly put together a funeral and make a gravestone and bury him and settle his estate in one day. Everyone knew my grandfather's love for toys, and yet the grave was a mere stone slab on the ground, void of any children's toys. My dad didn't even bother putting flowers. His disdain for my grandfather was pitiful.
Did anyone else in the family get flowers?
Sorry, Grandpa.
I tried to force out some words, but the only thing that came out of my mouth was a choke sob.
You told me to stay strong, but right now I'm the farthest from it. Like that one time a long time ago. Grandpa!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
I was swept into a giant bear hug, and we both laughed as he swung me around like an airplane. It was one of my favorite things about seeing Grandfather, the way he greeted me. Unlike my father, my grandfather was loving and playful, even as I grew older.
Sorry that Daddy couldn't be here today. He said he wasn't feeling too good again.
It had always been like that. Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, citing that he was busy with work or he wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time. And you're here, right?
Yeah, so what are we doing today, Grandpa? Mommy says there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe we could go?
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Yes! Ooh, is it a toy?
It is. I was designing a new line of them, but I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Of course.
He placed the toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There was one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart on its chest should light up when you hug it. It'll be like it's alive, and it can be like a little nightlight when you sleep.
He stroked his chin, considering my input while nodding his head. After a few moments of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You always know what to add to make the perfect toy.
Well, I hope I can be like you one day, Grandpa.
You want to make toys as well?
Well, making people happy is the best feeling in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
That makes sense. Daddy doesn't think of it the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
I'm not so sure about that.
Sweetie, look at me.
He bent down to look me eye level, with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
I don't hate Daddy, I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I had heard tidbits of this from my mother and various other people. The only people who had stayed quiet were my father and grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them.
It's hard, though, trying to pretend as if nothing were wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already, and, well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you. Daddy, Mommy, your friends at school, me. We'll stand together to get through it.
How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
He pointed his finger to my head first, then pointed at my chest. Bang, kid, you're dead.
So stay strong. Promise?
For a moment, he looked almost sad, pleading, but as quickly as it had come, the expression disappeared from his face. It was all smiles once again.
Promise.
Upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
All right then. Enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
Homemade dessert? I'll be seated in the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
You willed me the very home I love to see you in. Why? Why would you think I'd be ready to take it, especially after this?
A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it. There was no use in getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there.
I'm sorry. It's hard to stay calm when you've left me with so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing? Talking to a grave.
My vision blurred and I suddenly realized I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheek.
I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpa. I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave to you, even if the world might be turned against me.
I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't see me.